everybody, and welcome back to another Beasts of the Mesozoic Tyrannosaur series review. And today we are going to be looking at the 1/6 scale called Dilong Paradoxus by Creative Beast Studio and David Silva. So here we are. There it is. And before we take a look at this incredible action figure, let's take a quick look at the packaging for it, shall we? If I plop this down in front. So here we have the Beasts of the Mesozoic Dilong paradoxus box. And on the front, of course, we have the beautiful artwork by Shannon Beaumont, who did a lot of artwork for the Ceratopsians and the Tyrannosaur series in regards to the toy line. And of course, inside you also have a cardboard backdrop, which you can also use as a diorama and place behind your figure if you so choose to. And on the back, of course, you have a beautiful view of the toy itself, along with the obligatory product shots that also go with it in regards to all the other Wave 1 Tyrannosaurs, like Guanlong, Utyrannus, T-Rex, all of them. And of course, inside the package, along with the backdrop and the figure itself, you get, among other things, this card of Dilong paradoxus, and yeah, just gorgeous, gorgeous art that Shannon does. I mean, she's got some real talent. And of course, on the back you get your obligatory product shot along with the information. And I want to note something very interesting about this card. In the first release of the Wave 1 figures, many of them actually had pixelated cards, but this one is actually the true version that these are supposed to come with. And David Silva, when I told him about this, was kind enough to send me the replacements. And he did so for all four of the Wave 1, or rather Wave 1.5 figures. So you got your Juvenile T-Rex, your Guanlong, your Utyrannus, and your Dilong. Yeah, all the collector's cards, all together, no problems, absolutely phenomenal. Now, along with the card, you get the ever-present instructions. So, here they are. And just like the Raptors, you actually have two different ball and socket joints in the tail for Dilong paradoxus. That is because it is of a similar build to the Raptors, where you can actually pop out the tail if you so choose to, and yeah, just basically position it differently depending on how you want the dinosaur to look. Like, you could have the tail standing up straight, like it's agitated. You could have it trailing behind. You could have it in all manner of poses. It also comes, of course, with the ever-present replaceable feet. And this is something you have to note for the Beasts of the Mesozoic Tyrannosaurs. When swapping feet, just like it says on the instructions, you always have to put the toe with two segments on the inside of the foot. So 1, 2, inside of the foot. So that way you don't accidentally put your toes on the wrong feet. Well, your wrong feet on the legs. Sorry. I'm just super, super excited. Now, of course, it also comes with a lot of other instructions as well. And here's another fun fact about Dilong paradoxus. Because it has the same molded feet as the juvenile Tyrannosaurus rex, it can actually utilize the juvenile T-Rex base if you want to swap them around. There's really no limit to what you can do with the Dilong. It's incredible in regards to that. But yeah, moving on to the figure itself, let's take a quick look at it, shall we? Now, here's some other stuff that also comes with the figures, and these are very important pieces. Now, you get your clear translucent posing rod, and this is the big one, just like with the Raptors accessory packs, and this is compatible with them in regards to the accessory packs, because this base is actually the same mold as that of the Psittacosaurus and all of the Raptors. So you could actually put it in with like the forest accessory pack or the desert accessory pack, anything you want, and it'll fit right in just like a puzzle piece. Just like that. Now, you also, of course, get the translucent base as well. Yeah, translucent rod, I should say, as well. And it actually comes with a lot more heads than the original did. Well, than the original run of the Raptors did. Now, here's one of the other other belly cradles that comes with the rod. You get this much smaller rod, which I'll show you here, like that. And of course they all just pop in via ball and socket joints to the base. You get this clip which you can attach to the bottom of the hip, right down here. Right down here. And you also get this unique torso supporting cradle, which is not found with the Raptors at all. And if you want to pose the Dilong in like a leaping position, you can combine this curved piece, which I have here, and you can peg it into the giant posing rods or the normal size rods, and you can actually have it in different positions as you see fit, and it just pegs right into any and all of these posing rods. So just gently peg it in like so, and of course mine's going to be a little bit tight because I have not done this very much for this figure. Now I'm not going to put it in all the way, but this is just an idea, just to give you an idea of this, of how it works. And for those of you who have the Raptors as well, this is all too familiar for you. Now, there is another thing, of course, that these figures come with, and that is, as typical for the Tyrannosaurs, extra feet. Now, these are the mid-step toes, and you, of course, get your pair of them. So, left and right, like so. Yes. Actually, I had them switched around. So, left and right, like so. And then, on top of that, you also have the running toes. So, just like this. And you can just pop them off the ankles like so, and replace them if you so choose to. Now, I'm not personally going to do that, but yeah, you can if you want to. But if you're going to do that, I highly recommend using a hair dryer to loosen the foot and soften up the plastic, because otherwise you might run the risk of popping out your figure. Now, moving on to the actual Dilong itself and taking him off the stand, let's take a look at this beautiful dinosaur's color. It is based off a golden pheasant, and I absolutely just love how brightly colored Dilong is for this. I honestly think this is probably one of the most realistic looking figures in regards to the color schemes. And they're all based on real color schemes, but yeah, of real animals, but this one definitely seems like it is the most realistic just in regards to how bright and ornamental it is in regards to actual birds and how that looks. I mean, look at the details on this. I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, all the scales, if you can see those, all the feathers, the feet, and of course the feet do have pegs underneath, so you can you can clip them to the juvenile T-Rex base if that's what you want. And you'll also be able to do this, I think, with the Shanjusaurus base as well. But yeah, you can do a lot with this figure. Now, in regards to articulation, the Dilong has a neck that can move right about this far and about the same distance left. He has similar articulation to the raptors in regards to his neck, and that he can move it up about that far, down about that far, and of course the jaws open, and the tongue is also on a ball joint. Now, I haven't really played with his tongue very much, but it does move. And of course the jaws can of course close. The arms can do about that far back, about this far forward. They can actually move 360 if you spread them out like this at the shoulder, but the arm can only bend at the elbow about that far down and about this far in, so you can have it really grip in and make it look like it's about to grab something. Now the wrists also move I think a full 360, but you really don't want to do pronated hands with that, so honestly I think it's better to just pose them in this position, this relaxed position that they have, where they stand basically in this position. You don't want pronated hands on the dinosaur figure. It doesn't look right, because that would actually break the wrist. And yeah, they can also move out about that far, in about this far. So there's quite a lot you can actually do with this figure, in spite of the fact that it does not have that much mobility in its wrist. Now the torso can move right and left, although with the leg, it's with the legs put forward, it's kind of limited, but it can also move that torso up and down like so. The legs can actually move about this far forward because of the body. The torso piece does not allow for full 360 degree movement, but you can put the leg back about, you can flip it around quite a bit, but can't do a full 360 because of this leg piece. I mean, you possibly could, but I wouldn't recommend it. The knee bends about this far forward, this far back. Ankle goes about this far back as far forward, like so. And of course, the feet can move and swivel like this. Now, the tail also can move side to side, left and right, and up and down like the raptors. But if you want to, you can pop the tail out and reposition it inside the second peg, which allows it to stand erect. The tail itself also has, the middle to end portion of the tail also has a wire in it. And yeah, it just looks absolutely incredible. You can bend it any direction you want just to make it look more dynamic. I personally like to have it straight out and maybe a little bit of an angle like this, just because that looks a little more naturalistic. But I mean, this is incredible. Those tail feathers especially, I love the color in them. And of course, this is based on a real bird in regards to the color, so yeah, just really looks realistic. And it absolutely is one of my favorite of the beasts of the Mesozoic Tyrannosaurs. This is the only Wave 1 figure, in fact, this is the only Tyrannosaur figure in the line that is also 1/6 scale. It's just so small that a 1/18 scale figure probably won't be in the works for quite some time. And if it is, it's not going to have the articulation of like the Guanlong or the Dilong or anything like that if it gets made. Yeah, it's just too small for that. But if it does get a 1/18 version made, I really look forward to getting it because it'll scale well with the Eutyrannus and the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Guanlong as well. But again, not bothered if David does not do that. Now, in regards to size, oh, cool. Yeah, in regards to size, this figure measures about 12.5 to 13 inches long. He's about 5.5 inches high at the top of his crest, like that. And yeah, he's about the same size as many of the raptors are. And moving on to some information about the animal, yeah, this dinosaur actually shared its habitat with a lot of other dinosaurs that have been in the Beasts of the Mesozoic toy line as well, including its cousin Eutyrannus, which lived at the same time and in the same place, which is Liaoning, China, in what is now known as the Yixian Formation, as well as Psittacosaurus, which is actually one of its main prey items. And comparing them side by side, like this, give me a moment, comparing them side by side like this, you can actually see they're not that far off in scale. In fact, this would be a fairly large Dilong. I'm pretty sure they got about this size on a regular basis, but we don't have many specimens of Dilong, from what I understand, that would give us an average body size for this dinosaur. But yeah, Psittacosaurus was one of Dilong's favorite snacks. In fact, this is actually an animal that proves that horned dinosaurs and tyrannosaurs, that is to say ceratopsians and tyrannosaurs, have been fighting one another in a predator-prey relationship for millions of years, since their very beginnings, honestly. Psittacosaurus was one of Dilong's favorite prey items to hunt. And yeah, not an animal that Psittacosaurus would have wanted to meet on any day. Of course, with being a small tyrannosaur, Dilong also had a lot of competition, including the similar-sized dromaeosaur Zhenyuanlong. This guy, right here. So here they are together, and you can see they are very close in size. And I would not be surprised at all if Zhenyuanlong and Dilong were actually fighting on occasion to either scavenge a carcass or over something that one or the other might have killed in the undergrowth. Wouldn't surprise me at all. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if packs of Dilong went up against a single Zhenyuanlong or vice versa. But yeah, very, very fascinating. One of the other dinosaurs, of course, that they... a lot of other dinosaurs that are in the same formation that also are in the toy line for beasts of the Mesozoic. One of them is Microraptor, which I have not deigned to show here, but Microraptor probably would have been an occasional snack for Dilong. Would have been very, very unfortunate for Microraptor to come across a Dilong if it was on the ground and unaware while trying to hunt its own food. In addition to that, Dilong was also had to be careful to avoid predators like Tyrannosaurus, which was its larger cousin. Tyrannosaurus was 30 feet long, and Dilong in real life was probably only between 5 to 6 feet long, so would not have fared well against a Tyrannosaurus, or quite likely even a pack of Tyrannosaurus. And yeah, definitely would have had to run for its life and hide in the undergrowth where Tyrannosaurus could not follow it. But yeah, it was a very interesting, very interesting environment that Dilong lived in. Dilong also had to share habitat with Sinosauropteryx, which probably would have served as another favorite food for Dilong. Probably would have been an animal that would have been much easier to tackle than Psittacosaurus. Not to mention dinosaurs like the giant iguanodontian Jinjusaurus and the Titanosaur Dongbei Titan. But there's a lot of animals known from the Yixian formation that Dilong had to deal with. I mean, you had compsognathids like Sinocalliopteryx and Huajiagnathus. You had lots and lots of pterosaurs. You had lizards like Hyphalosaurus, which almost looked like a tiny nothosaur. You had dinosaur-eating mammals like Repenomamus, which Dilong, again, probably would have had for lunch since it was actually much larger than Repenomamus. Repenomamus was about the size of a small dog, but Dilong would have outweighed it. In addition to that, there was also Tianulong, a late-surviving heterodontosaur with large plumes of hair-like feathers, and there also would have been other dinosaurs like smaller nithopods similar to Hypsilophodon, and there even was a giant fly. There were even a couple of other flying dinosaurs aside from Microraptor, like Sinornithosaurus and the much larger Changyuraptor, which was the biggest literal flying dinosaur out there that we know of. It was about the size of an eagle, but a very, very rich environment that we are still beginning to understand. And just, yeah, just incredible how much we know about about these dinosaurs, and how much we still are trying to learn about them as well. But yeah, absolutely incredible. Now, in regards to price for this particular figure, this Dilong is about, I would say, about $65, maybe. Yeah, yeah, that probably wouldn't be too far off. But yeah, definitely not a dinosaur that's going to take too big a bite out of your wallet, no pun intended, in regards to the pricing for it. But if you want a unique, brightly colored Tyrannosaur from the toy line, something that no one's really seen before, Dilong is definitely one of your best bets. I really enjoy Dilong paradoxus as a dinosaur. It's actually one of my favorite small tyrannosaurs, and I actually ended up naming one of my late lizards, one of my lizards whom I own and unfortunately passed away a long time ago. I actually named one of my lizards after after this dinosaur. So it does have a very special place in my heart in that regard. But yeah, definitely a figure that is well worth the time and money to get. And if you can get it, definitely go for it. If you want this figure, don't let anything stop you, because this is definitely one of the coolest dinosaurs that Creative Beast Studio brought to the toy line. Just incredible. So this is Saber Rex signing off, saying, you're never too old to play with toys. Be a toy nerd, be proud of it. Thank you, and see you next time when I do a painting video of the gray version of the 1/35th scale Tyrannosaurus Rex action figure. Thank you. Oh, have a good night, and see you next time.